Hey, this is Gilgamesh. I want to talk about something I saw happen today I knew was absolutely horrible. It was not good. It's called the kidnapping of a president, a world leader from their country. What we saw today was Maduro was kidnapped from his country by the CIA. They did this in the dark of the night when nobody was looking. If Trump comes out and holds a press conference, and I saw the monkeys dance and clap and act like everything's good. Yes, we got him. I saw people putting videos and going, we got him, because this is what's called the cult of Trump. The little monkeys danced for their master, but their master's a sham. Okay. You have to understand where I'm going with this. Donald Trump's a puppet, just like Obama, just like Bush, just like Clinton, just like Bush Sr., just like Reagan, and FDR. Puppets are controlled by one organization. They have 3 letters, and they run this government. And Jimmy Carter thought he could stand up to him, and they got rid of him. And he thought he could stop them. Nothing stops these people. And now they're run by an evil corporation known as Palantir. Comes from the Lord of the Rings, the all-seeing eye of Sauron. There you go. Today was a kidnapping based on a lie. But the truth was, this was about something else. Oil. Trump made it very clear, that's our oil, we're going to steal it. It's in another country, we're going to overthrow your government and steal your oil. But why? Why steal Venezuela's oil? Oh, that's because of what's coming next. The CIA, I will have to give you a history lesson of the good old CIA. And for all the morons clapping for this, going, if you're mad at this, what the Smallies did, and this is okay with you, then you have nothing to be whining about, because it's the same goddamn shit run by the same organization called the CIA. It sucks to be a moron. Democrats and Republicans, conservative, right and left, communist, socialist, and conservative, or the right, as they say, you're all just so easy to play with. The CIA loves you so much because you're so easy to manipulate. This was a kidnapping. They desecrated Hugo Chavez's grave, and they kidnapped Maduro and made up a press conference. So stupid. If everything they did was legal, why did they have to do it? Why did the CIA have to go bomb the ports and go in illegally? Why not go to the United Nations and plead the case? Like, hell, I'll say a lot of things about BB. He's an evil motherfucker, but at least he had the decency to go to the UN and lie his ass off why he was killing the Palestinians. At least he did that. Trump didn't have the balls to go in front of the UN and lie his ass off by why they had to get rid of Maduro. The lies go long and hard, and the dicks you get slapped in the face with a limp dick, and you go, what? Maduro was not a gangster. He was hated by the Triagos. They tried to kill him because he was stopping the drug trade being trafficked through Venezuela. Cocaine in this country comes through either Colombia or Ecuador. Now it's mainly Ecuador, a country we overthrew to throw so that Donald Trump could have Julian Assange thrown in Belmarsh prison. That's right. The fentanyl that they claim doesn't come from Venezuela. You can't grow fentanyl there. It's an opiate. You have to grow in a dark and a very dry climate like Afghanistan. Heroin's an opiate. All opiates come from Afghanistan. Why? It's the easiest place to grow it. They grow it in abundance. And then they turn it into fentanyl and they move it through China. China doesn't know this is happening. The CIA is doing this. They bring it to Mexico where they fled in your country, and boom, it's given to you people to kill yourselves with. The CIA runs the cartels, they run the gangs, they run the sex trafficking of children. This is the most evil terrorist organization in the world, and you people got easily manipulated by it. There's a thing called Alan, the first ever director of the CIA, name was Alan Dulles. He's the man who created Operation Mockingbird. What is that? Operation Mockingbird is controlled media propaganda machine. This is what they did. Alan Dulles did the blacklisting of communists in Hollywood. Had a Democrat run it, and he blacklisted them. He hated communists. He despised them as much as he despised the fucking Jews. Oh yes, he was one of the first real Zionists in America. Yeah. His plan was to get rid of the Jews of Europe, expel them. Think I'm joking? First he gets rid of the communists. He expels them from blacklists them. There were no communists in the government. Then he convinces you Joseph McCarthy and lies about him and calls it McCarthyism. So you fell for that lie. Alan Dulles is the reason Pearl Harbor was bombed. See, as the CIA director, he controlled the government. And he told FDR and he told the government, you need to put an... Because when the Japanese said, if you put an oil and gas embargo on us, a coal embargo, we will bomb Pearl Harbor. So to set up us going to war, because war is money, he told them to put an embargo on Japan. What happened? America gets bombed. While he's fucking that, even before that, he put Hitler in power. He took a Jew, a half-breed Jew. His grandfather was Jewish. His grandfather married a non-Jew. His grandfather has a son. His father marries a non-Jew, having his half-breed kids. So his whole family, or from his grandfather on, are half-breeds. I will not be able to pronounce his Jewish last name because the problem was pure-blood Jews hated mixed race, and they believed in keeping it within the same community. Oh, this is 100% true. So Hitler came to his father after they were ostracized from their community because their mixed race had to change their name to Hitler to hide the fact that they were mixed race Jews. And this also explains why 150,000 half-breed Jews served in the German military. Yes. Hitler came to meet Alan Dulles, the CIA director, who got him in. He was in the military in World War I, serving in the German army. Alan Dulles had used England and France to discredit Russia and Germany to make them look like they caused World War I to destroy their economy. Gets the chancellor, gets the president elected, who then picks Hitler to be the new chancellor, the real leader of Germany, even though he's Austrian. His plan is working. Alan Dulles convinces Hitler he must extort. Oh, and by the way, before Hitler even invaded Poland, every country in Europe had already started rounding up their Jews and putting them in concentration camps. They did this. Oh, yes. Hitler was funded by the Catholic Church, by Switzerland, by Sweden, by Norway. Yes, Finland was the only country that would fight with Nazi Germany of those countries. Most people didn't know this. Only reason Hitler invaded Poland was they had stolen land from Germany. This what set off World War II. But before that, he met Alan Dulles. Alan Dulles told Hitler to expel the Jews out of Europe into Palestine. His plans for them were much worse than you could imagine. Palestine would become the death of the European Jew. That was Alan Dulles. That's why it's called the Zionist Nation of Israel, and as Bibi has said, Israel exists to bring all the Jews in so we can kill them to avenge Jesus Christ's murder, which was done by the Roman soldiers, not by the Jews. But there you go. But he also wanted him to invade Russia. Must destroy communist Russia. That was a big mistake. But Japan, we go back to Japan. Of course, all communism in China and Korea came from the communist country of Japan. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Collectivism is a part of communism, you fucking morons. They taught this to the Chinese people. Yes, this is how the Chinese found about communism. This is how Korea found about communism. Yep, they imported communism from Japan. You go look this up. That's how Mao Zedong learned about communism, went to Japan University, and was taught it by the Japanese collectivist country, who was actually, yeah. Then, of course, India got involved with Hitler and Japan. So Alan Dulles convinced Hitler, the Emperor of Japan, Japan to invade China and Korea. Yes. Because what he wanted to set up was us going to war with Japan. Let Japan do their atrocities inside China. And they did. The rape of Nanking, Unit 731. But then, when China begged for help, and they did because we were aligned with China, and Korea did too, Japan, they said, well, if you don't stop what you're doing, we'll put an embargo on you. And they said, if you do that, we'll bomb Pearl Harbor. Alan Dulles told the FDR's government, put an embargo. Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, brings us to war. We're not even ready for war. Keeping us away from Europe, letting Hitler do his Holocaust. England, of course, was in on this. France, that's why their president, their leadership, surrendered so easy to Hitler. By that time, of course, Hitler wanted to destroy England because of World War I. The lies, they said. He wanted to destroy it. But here's the thing. Churchill got in power, and he, as much of a Zionist, he didn't like the fact, he didn't want Germany getting France's naval fleet. So he sunk it. Yep. He sunk it, and that pissed off Alan Dulles. So he sent the Zionists to try to kill Churchill. That's true. So the plan goes off. Hitler invades Russia. Stalin doesn't believe it, and 27 million Russians lost their life. And what did Stalin do in the end? Russia, they walked. As Germany walked out, they lost a lot of people. Their equipment was frozen. They were starving. They walked. They literally crawled back to Germany, Berlin. Word gets back to Hitler, they've lost. And the Russian Red Army's on their way. They walked their asses there. They took their time. They attacked any ally of Nazi Germany and killed them. They make it to Berlin. They go to war with Germany and their land. They beat the Germans. Hitler's like, if we don't win, you'll know I killed them. Hitler and his wife did, in fact, kill themselves. They burned the bodies. Then they get on the bunker door, and they open the door, and there's the Red Army, and they surrendered to the Russians. That's right, Americans. You only won the war because you aligned yourself with the communists. Because America and England and France and all the people fighting were over in the Battle of Bulge. The Russians made it to Berlin. They made the Nazis surrender. They freed the people in Auschwitz, but first they raped all the women of Berlin. It's called the Rape of Berlin. It actually did as punishment for the invasion of Russia. Yep, they also punished the Estonians. They punished the Finnish by taking part of their land. Yeah. So, and Alan Dulles did exactly what Alan Dulles did. He told the Nazis, either you come work for me or we're going to put you on trial. He took Sheet to the man who ran Unit 731 before the Russians could get their hands on him, brought him to the U.S. Those that didn't come, they were put on trial. Some were taken to South America, but those that came they created NASA. And they created our bioweapon program. That being said, here's a scary notion. Do you know how many, at the time before Russia revealed 20 of our bioweapon labs in Ukraine alone? We have at least 330 bioweapon labs around the world, including Fort Detrick in Maryland. COVID was not created in China. It was created in our bioweapon labs around the world, and that's how we released it. To infect the world, we did the thing in China to waken China. This did not hit America. It leaked out of Fort Detrick, and it hit a retirement home, and this is how it spread through America. It spread in Europe, everything so quickly because the CIA told them to release it and blame China. It was easy to blame China. They had Dr. Fauci was over there. He also is the reason AIDS became a thing because HIV was a problem in New York. A lot of gay black men had HIV, but it's more of an STD, and you contract it through sex. But here's the thing: it wasn't really killing anyone. Now, when HIV, after Fauci and our government, the CIA had created AIDS in a lab, when they saw how many gay men had contracted HIV in New York, this is drug addicts and the homosexuals, they decided to go in and infect them. And when they came in to get treated for HIV, they would then inject them with AIDS. That's why they say HIV caused AIDS. No, they caused it. It wasn't a guy having sex with a monkey. They purposely infected HIV men with AIDS. What they didn't count on, these same gay men that they gave AIDS to were sharing drugs with white people and having sex with these same white people, and it got into the white community. That's when they made oh God, we fucked up, and they blamed HIV for it. No, the government infected gay people and spread the white community. That's when they said, oh shit. What they didn't know was that how easy it was transmittable through blood, So a lot of gay men were that were infected didn't even know because they didn't know how to test for it at the time. They really had not perfected how to find out if you had AIDS. So these same AIDS infected that didn't know they had AIDS would go and give blood. Problem was, met people who weren't gay, went into the hospital like Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator in Predator 1 and 2, and also happened to play Harry in Harry the Henderson movie and TV show, went in for surgery and contracted AIDS, found out later he had contracted AIDS. AIDS is an autoimmune disease that you don't die from. You ever hear of AIDS? Yes. People who they don't die from AIDS, they die from complications from having AIDS, like any autoimmune disease you have. HIV is an STD. Magic Johnson contracted HIV, not AIDS. God damn, stupid people say this shit. So let's get back to the CIA. Okay. CIA had decided they didn't like the communism they were hearing out of China and Korea, so they invaded Korea. They started a war with Korea and created South Korea, which is useless land. All the resources that we all talk about, those rare earth things, are all in North Korea. North Korea is the land of the wealth, of where all the stuff that you want to make chips or anything like that is in North Korea. It's been proven. South Korea is worthless land, like Japan. They have no natural resources. Here's the thing. We started a war and illegally created South Korea. And that's how the Korean War has never ended. Now, because of everything the government has done, Kim Jong-un does not want to talk to anyone in South Korea, and there will never be a unification now. Now, because of us fucking around with Russia and China, North Korea now has the same hypersonic missiles that China has, from their dear friends in the Soviet and Russia. Because when Koreans went in to help Russia, when Ukraine invaded Russia, they came in and helped them. So they unified these two countries, and China agreed to let North Korea have the same weapons that they got from Russia. You dumb motherfuckers. These missiles can hit you and you have no way to stop them. No, Trump lies off, says we never had the ability because the military already said we don't have the capability to stop hypersonic missiles and we don't know how to make them. There you go. So, we created the Korean War. We've never won it. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed because he was a filthy fucking commie. Malcolm X, because he spoke up against what was going on. Because he was a Muslim, he spoke up against what Israel was doing to Palestine. Yep. The invasion of Palestine, the creation of Israel. I don't support Israel. I'm half Jewish. I don't support Israel. But Malcolm X spoke strong, and that's why he had to be assassinated. Martin Luther King was assassinated for speaking up for communism. Yes. JFK was assassinated because he found out the CIA director at the time had already created South Vietnam. He was going to start the Vietnam War. When he found this out, he also stopped the Cuban Missile Crisis, which pissed the CIA director off because he wanted war with Russia. See, this has always been CIA's plan. Start a war with fucking communists. We created Cuba. We put Castro in. He was an ally till we realized he was talking to Russia. Oh, that changed everything. We said, no more friendship. We're gonna destroy your country. And we proceeded to put a blockade. And, well, here's a funny thing. We put nukes in Turkey, armed at Moscow. When Russia found this out, they went and put the same missiles in Cuba. Now, JFK being a smart guy, not stupid, decided to contact Russia to try to work things out to head off, because he listened to at least one person in his cabinet who wasn't controlled by the CIA. He talked to Khrushchev, and Khrushchev agreed to remove the missiles if he removed the nukes from Turkey. The missiles from Turkey, he agreed. That is what prevented the Cuban Missile Crisis of World War III. Then he found out the CIA director was going to start a war in Vietnam. When he was in Dallas, they killed him because he told them he was going to tell the public about what the CIA was doing. So they assassinated him. Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it. Jack Ruby was the Mossad agent. He was shot in the front twice. You can see in the video, you do this when you're hit in the throat, then he was shot and his head went back and fell forward. He was shot from the front by two snipers, two assassins. Don't know if they were Mossad or if they were CIA assassins, because Mossad are assassins. So all political assassinations are done by the CIA. Then they killed Robert Kennedy because he was looking into his brother's murder and they couldn't let him find out what they had done. So they shot him through the back, killing him. He was not shot from the front. He was shot through the back, killing him. So he never saw his assassin. I believe they killed JFK Jr. because an experienced pilot, him having an accident doesn't make sense. I believe they messed with this plane because they were worried he might run for president. Charismatic like his father, they would have a real problem putting him in. So, and it would have exposed the CIA if JFK Jr. had run for president and he literally won the election by the vote. They would have been really exposed for rigging elections. And of course, they took out Michael Jackson. Why? Because he didn't support Israel, and he spoke against all things involving the United States. And when they put Rabbi Shmuley on him, he told him to get the hell away from him. So, boom, they killed him. Yes. I believe they killed Prince. I don't think he died of a drug overdose, as they try to claim. I think they killed him because he took on Warner Brothers, who, if you know anything about Hollywood, it's run by Zionists. There you go. Then came the newest. Oh, yes, then came the fake attempt on Trump's life, staged by CIA. Because if you saw the bullet whiz in the picture, it's a high-capacity bullet. If that thing had struck Trump in the ear, his ear would have been obliterated. No ear left, and probably part of his fucking side of his head would have been, because that's a very high-powerful bullet that would have gone through his head. So, yeah, he was never hit. It was staged so that you go, oh, poor Donald Trump, they tried to kill him. Shut the fuck up. You're all dumb. That's how the CIA controls you. Then came Charlie Kirk. Like I said, political assassinations are carried out by the CIA. Why did they kill Charlie Kirk? Because he wouldn't stand with Israel. Boom. They killed him. They convinced you it was this person. He, of course, played along because he wants to be famous. That's why he's enjoying the attention. You got a patsy to take the fall. You idiots fall for it, and they just wrap it up in a nice bow, and you just go, oh. Anytime Trump opens his mouth, you go, yes. Then Trump, reason, and I'll get to why. He couldn't go to the UN to tell people about Maduro, and CIA had to do it this way while you slept, illegally kidnapping him. Is because of what Trump did to those Venezuelans who tried to help get rid of Maduro. And when they couldn't live there because they were worried he might put him in prison for collaborating with the CIA, they came to America. When Trump gets in, his first thing wasn't going after an undocumented deal. He went after the Venezuelans, claimed they were gang members. Not one of them was a gang member. He said, I'm going to deport them. And instead of, he put them on a plane, and as they were heading, he rerouted it to El Salvador and sold them. He admitted, we sold them to El Salvador. So our government now human traffics people. They did this. Eventually, and even their dictator, because he is actually, if you go look at it, he suspended the courts and the government and put them all in prison. That's right. Bukaki or whatever his fucking name is, he's a dictator. Nobody has freedom in El Salvador. Yeah. That's why he was proud to say, yeah, we bought them. So your government now sells human beings. We traffic humans. For the Trump supporters, you now have a man who likes to sell human beings to other people. Human trafficking. I'll get to Epstein. And Trump and all that. Now, that's why Trump couldn't go to the UN and tell them about Maduro. There was nothing about what Trump ever said. He gave away the real plan the first time. We destroyed Venezuela as a company. It wasn't them being a socialist country. We trashed we hyperinflated their currency so their economy collapsed. We were trying to get rid of Maduro. We tried to assassinate him, coup his ass. They couldn't get the military on their side. Yeah, the CIA does this all over the world. You go look this shit up. Now they're trying to do in Iran. They've overthrown governments in, let's see, Nepal, Bulgaria, Sri Lanka, yeah. And they're trying to do Myanmar. And they're actually attacking, through Ukraine, they're attacking Russia's infrastructure, their oil fields, oil pipelines. They're actually interrupting business by attacking a pipeline. Oh yes, the protesters that are all part of, plotted by the U.S. CIA, are attacking a pipeline through Myanmar, and Myanmar doesn't have the ability to stop them, so the pipeline's being attacked. This is to stop China. You idiots never asked your question. How many military bases do we have that are near China and Russia? How many does China have outside their country? One, it's in Africa. It's nowhere near. All of Russia's bases, as far as I know, are in the Arab world, the Middle East, and in Africa. They have not one anywhere, I don't think, near us. They are not the threat you all are told they are. China is stealing. What intellectual property is China stealing? Your shame? Your what? Your porn? Nope. The CIA director and, NSA said those phones, the ones, China's phones where they had to build their own processing chip, have been done in such a way they can't be hacked. And they said, yeah, we can't get it. We're not able to get inside China anymore, and it's pissing them off. Yeah, they can't. Their spies are being caught inside China and Russia. Yes. See, the Russian government and Putin and Xi's governments are catching on to the CIA and the U.S. and, yeah, what they're trying to use in spies, claiming they're journalists and they're really spies inside Russia and inside China. Yes. So, why did they do this? If this was so legal, why didn't they go to you? That I told you, because they couldn't. Because they have no case against Maduro. See, Maduro had no problem willing to make a deal with the U.S., but that wasn't it. They don't want to pay for the oil. They want to steal it. Why pay Venezuela when we can just steal? And that's all their economy is based on is oil, you idiots. If you take the oil away, these people will starve. They have no other resource but oil. The largest oil reserves in the world are in Venezuela, and they're the type of oil you use in the military. Heavy crude. So, if you're celebrating this, oh, we got him. You are an idiot used by the CIA. They didn't get Maduro because he was some illegitimate leader. Every other world leader considered Maduro the president of Venezuela. Even people that opposed him, like Lula, the Brazil's president, who didn't get along with Maduro, was pissed off at what this government did. They kidnapped Maduro. They lied to you. That's why they did it in the dead of night, so that you didn't see it, because they knew, oh, why are they stealing the oil? For their war to come with Russia and China, you fucking morons. Trump didn't end the genocide in Gaza. It's still going on. They're still killing the fucking Palestinians, you dipshits. They're just not televising it. That's why David Ellison buying Paramount was so important. That's why they're going to get Warner Brothers to control the media, to prevent what exactly what Barry Weiss did to a CBS. What CBS had a story there on CCOT. It showed in Canada, and they were telling people, did you, on 60 Minutes, had this story about what it's really like inside CCOT. Barry Weiss prevented it from being released in America, but released it elsewhere, like Canada. Why was that? Because it would not make Trump look good. An actual article or something that makes Trump look bad? Oh no, we can't do that. So she's not the open-minded person that all these idiots think she is. She is a puppet of the CIA. Like Gloria Steinem, like BLM, like Antifa. Everything. They control the world, morons. The CIA these guys in the CIA, known as Palantir, were put in the CIA by Mika Brzezinski's father back in the 90s. They control your government. Hell, you know the World Economic Forum is they're doing. You know that digital ID that you hear about? They created it. Yeah, VPNs are not. You are not safe. If you have to give a debit card to use them, they already have your private information. They are monitoring everything you do. Oh no. Because they have their Skynet built. I said this once to two guys. I said, if you remember the day Iran was attacked and all of a sudden the internet satellites suddenly went down, humans can't do that. Around the world at the same time, every country, including China, you have to have an ability, a system I call it Skynet. They can shut it all down right before Iran was attacked because you don't want anybody knowing. Just like what they did to Russia. Russia didn't even know the attack was about to happen in Russia, and it had been sitting there for a year. How'd they not know this? It's called they built Starlink, motherfuckers. Palantir did. It was co-founded by Peter Thiel, who created PayPal. Sold it. Elon Musk took his money from it because he funded its creation and took it and bought Tesla. Palantir was named after the all-seeing eye of Sauron. You're being spied on, being controlled, and they can shut it all down. They control all of it. All your tech companies are controlled by Palantir. Now, yes, they monitor everything you do. As Alex Karp said, we build systems, we show it off, and then people want it. That's how they know their digital ID is already. Oh, you have a social credit score. It's called credit score system. You've had it forever. That tells if you can get a loan to buy a house or buy a car or anything. Your credit score system already exists. You've used it and you've lived with it. Yeah. Oh, yes. They were behind. Understand this. They were behind sending all jobs to China. They deindustrialized your country. That was the CIA. Both parties went along with that. That's how much they control your government. You have no real freedom. Freedom of speech is a lie. They do all school shootings. Yes. Yes. Answer this question. How does a guy from Afghanistan get from Washington State to D.C. with no one realizing it, get a gun, and then go shoot 2 National Guard? He had to have help. If you look close to your government, you'll find the culprits. It's always within your government. The FBI, CIA, you pick your poison. And just like those two killed outside the Israeli embassy in D.C. was absolutely staged by the CIA. That's right, all you people. You're blaming some idiot being put on trial for Charlie Kirk when the CIA did it. Same people who kidnapped Maduro and Trump went and ran his mouth. Oh, my God. The CIA. the most evil organization ever. Now I'll get to, I said this before about Jeffrey Epstein, and none of this shit was possible without Jeffrey Epstein. He was a barrister and stockbroker. That's how he met Trump and Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, all the people you think of. I'm not talking about Chris Tucker. That came later. I'm talking about all the old politicians in D.C., all the rich in New York, California, Silicon Valley, Florida. How he met the world, the Israeli intelligence, who is the government, how he met the Saudis, all this stuff. He helped them launder their money. He helped sell weapons to them. That's how Iran got weapons sold them from the CIA. He created the U.S. aid program. They gave him an apartment. How do you get children in New York with no one noticing it? Have the CIA be behind all of it. That's why the deal that allowed him not to sit in prison during the day and only sleep in prison, where they helped him get his island and move everything there while he was doing time. They set him up. They helped him traffic kids, because how do you think the kids get in the U.S.? They bring them to Florida. And I'll tell you what Virginia Roberts said right before she was murdered. She worked for Donald Trump at 15 at Mar-a-Lago. Then she was trafficked by him and Epstein into Epstein's apartment. Wow. How does no one notice her go missing and even ask questions? Where is she? It's because they have a way to sneak them through with no one looking. It's probably tunnels underneath to the airfield where they put the kids on the plane, sneak them into U.S., get them to the building, and then get them underground, and boom. No one notices they're even brought to the building. This is how it went on for so goddamn long. Now, he had a master ledger, that had just the clients' names of the people that had sex with kids. A copy of that went to the Palantir, the CIA. The other went to the Israeli intelligence. Neither will give those up, so don't bother asking. And as far as when the first time he was arrested, this is where they didn't have anything. They had none of the stuff to put him. They arrested him. He agreed to plead guilty. He accepted their terms. Their terms was this: we will not prosecute him, because when he got arrested, Ghislaine Maxwell cut all ties with him. He wanted to protect her, of course, because she was his best girl, besides Melania Trump. So he made a deal, cut a deal. The CIA, Pam Bondi accepted, which was nobody would be prosecuted. Not one client and not one person that helped Epstein. This would protect them all. And he wouldn't have to spend a day inside prison. He could leave, walk around, do whatever he wanted, only had to sleep in prison. He accepted it. He also informed for the FBI as part of his condition of this deal. You know who didn't like it? The judge. He thought it was off, but he signed off on it. This was a no prosecutional deal. We all are supposed to believe that all the Department of Justice are connected. Through any one of them makes a deal, they're all. This is how it was supposed to be. But then they broke the deal. When did they do that? When they arrested Jeffrey Epstein. And knowing he was never going to talk, they killed him. But the problem was, they warned him. He got a call from his buddies in the CIA that they were going to come and arrest him. So he had none of none of his sex trafficking stuff in New York. He just had his association list and flight logs. He left that there on a flat. Yeah, that's all they had. And pictures, of course, of certain people that you couldn't really prove shit. So, but all the other stuff, the ledgers of how many times people came and had sex with kids, the actual sex tapes, and the actual master gold ledger were removed by those who had been working with Jeffrey Epstein. They're hidden. Then they killed him. And the day will come when that stuff will eventually be released. They have no say in it. See, they screwed up killing Jeffrey Epstein. He was never going to tell anybody anything. He was never going to give names. How we know this? His deposition on his trial. He was asked about Donald Trump, his relationships. He said, we're friends. Asked this, he didn't answer it. He said, did you see Trump ever have sex with girls in your apartment? He pled the fifth. That's what he did. Epstein pled the fifth. He knew better than to give up the names. They had nothing to worry about, yet they still killed his ass. and made it look like a suicide. He was the most optimistic person, and he believed he would get the same deal. He had no reason to disbelieve this, and yet they killed him. To send a message to others, you don't talk like the Tate brothers, like Oprah Winfrey, who also trafficked kids to Harvey Weinstein, just like Jeffrey Epstein, for all those people who didn't know that. Monique revealed Oprah Winfrey's part in the sex trafficking, but of course she had her career blacklisted. And yeah. And of course we know about P. Diddy from Whitney Webb. So yeah, they all worked for the CIA. Human trafficking is a thing you've seen taken that actually does go on to this day. Young women travel, they get abducted by the sex traffickers in Europe that are run by the CIA. Then they are sent to be sold to the Saudis. That's right, the Saudis love buying them some young, pretty women for their own pleasures. Yes, filthy, disgusting assholes. And not just there, but in most of these dictators in the Muslim world are perverts. Some like having sex with underage girls, but they love having sex with young, hot women that go missing. Then there's the red rooms. What are those? That's where people pay with money to watch young people get tortured and murdered. Oh yes, the dark web is run by the CIA. This is why they never pass an audit. They run the drug trade underground, the deep web. Yes. They sex traffic children to DC. You never hear about it because the children never survived to tell anyone. That's right, Lisa Ling had a documentary about this, and boom, all of a sudden, right before it was going to come out, her sister gets sent to North Korea and she shuts it all down. Yeah, that's why nobody can ever tell the truth about it, because they get stopped. Are you getting the picture? CIA runs the world. Their Skynet exists. You have no power to stop them. They're going to wipe out the Israel. They're going to wipe out the Palestinians, and they're going to overthrow the Iranian government, and they're going to create the greater Israel. This will happen. You can't stop it. And you're going to keep seeing people suffer. And Trump's going to be a good little puppet to run his mouth and lie for them. He's learned his lesson the last time. So the CIA broke the law, and they kidnapped Maduro so they could steal the oil for their war against Russia and China. Now this sends a message to China. You know what it says, China? Trump can do nothing if they decide now is the time to take Taiwan back. Make it part of China, because in the UN, everybody agreed Taiwan is a part of China. The people on Taiwan, I'm not talking about the Japanese fake government. Those people are not Chinese, but everybody else is, and they speak Cantonese, which is the language of China. And it's the original descendants of the original government that fled there when Mao took over China. Do you understand? You have fucked up. And celebrating this, well, congratulations. You've been played by the CIA. I always found this fascinating about the left and right. And I'm sort of like right here. I observe both sides. The communists think, oh, we want communism, not realizing they're actually getting communism. And communism never works. It's terrible. But the right goes, we hate communism. But what they don't know is their government, run by the Palantir, are running communism. Well, the oil is for them. It's not for you. That oil they're going to steal from Venezuela is going to their war machine. Communism isn't just about wealth up here. It's about control. It's about, we're going to overthrow governments and make them part of our form of the Soviet Union. We're going to do what the Soviet Union did. We're going to do it better. And that's why why they did what they did. They're going to put people in like they did Ecuador and other countries so they can control them. Not to benefit these people, to benefit the CIA. That is actual communism. You all have been played. BLM, all this shit. You got played by these people. And you're still being played. You're celebrating a form of communism, which is authoritarian, over illegal stealing of kidnapping people, overthrowing governments. That's what communists do. That's what fucking Stalin did. That's what Lenin did. What do you think the Soviet Union, all those countries wanted to be a part? No. They were forced. They were stolen. Their rights to exist were stolen from them and forced into the Soviet Union. There's the lie. People say, oh, these people chose. No, they didn't. Estonia didn't want to be a part of the Soviet Union, and they fought with the Nazis when they invaded. Not everybody, not everyone supported Soviet Union. Hell, a lot of them hated it there. And here's a funny thing, and I have a caregiver who was born in the Soviet Union. She says, nothing's really changed. It's still the Soviet Union. Her friends tell her they have no real freedom to travel where they want. They don't tell you this. And most of her friends still live in poverty. The same shitty housing they lived in when they grew up in. And the government never fixes that. Why do you think they don't let you see outside of Moscow and the places they let you see? They don't take you to Siberia and show the poor and how bad it's there. Those people live in abject poverty. Why do you think so many men joined when they went into Ukraine? Because they're all poor. All the money Putin offered was to get them to give up their freedom to fight for this, for Russia, right? The Federation, where only the people at the top have all the means, have all the good stuff in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And the people who are poor remain poor. Yes. There's no real equality in Russia. It's still the Soviet Union, just without the name Soviet Union. That comes from her. When she calls back home and they tell her it's still the Soviet Union, they just don't publicly call it the Soviet Union. But this is the CIA. This is what they'll continue to do. And you'll blindly go, yes, clapping for it and saying, yes, we got Maduro. On what? They have never proven one thing. When they told you those were drug boats, did they show you the evidence? Nope. They just told you idiots went, oh my God, those are drug boats. If they tell you something, you don't question it, you're a moron. You're also a fucking cultist of the CIA, because if Trump tells you and you believe it, you are dumb as shit. And don't ever complain about what the Somalis are doing. I don't like theft of any kind. That's why I oppose communism. But stealing another country's oil to benefit your own government is theft. Oh, taxation is theft. It's theft unless your CIA does it or your the guy you like so much does it to another country, right? Right? It's fine to steal another country, kidnap their leader, and then steal their oil and say, bragging on TV, we're going to seize their oil. We're going to run their country. You can't even run your own goddamn country, you fucking moron. You haven't fixed one problem in this goddamn country. Donald Trump, you like to run your fucking mouth, but have you solved any of the issues in America? No, you fucking haven't. You haven't dealt with the Somali fraud. No, instead you want to overthrow a government. Fucking goddamn fucking dumb world I live in. That's why I get more and more like I don't relate to people anymore. Because this is exactly what I see. People going, yes, we got him. What did Maduro? Well, Trump says this. You blindly believe that, moron. You are dumb as shit. This is why individualism doesn't exist in a cult of Trump. Oh, we'll crush him what he did to Rob Reiner. But you're so dumb. You actually believe 90% of the shit this idiot tells you. And Trump is an useful idiot. Like all politicians, they're just doing what their slave masters in the CIA tell them. Trump isn't a thinker. He's not an individual. He's a puppet. How's your puppet master? He's doing real good. He's dancing for the monkey master. He's dancing for the master. Yes, I do good. I'm Donald Trump. I'll do what you say, CIA Palantir. So he doesn't get kicked out of the room. He's a good little monkey. He dances for his masters. So does the rest. Marco Rubio's parents were CIA agents in Cuba. He was fucking shit. We put Castro in. We put dictators. We create fucking leaders. And then we use them. And when you try to find out, we try to lie and destroy your career. This is why they lie about the gray zone. I don't agree with everything gray zone says. Resistance, The Palestinian movement is dead after Charlie Kirk's assassination. There's no more. Yeah, the left lost. This is how they do things. To turn people against each other. You people are being propagated. You're being used. Divide yourself. And then you got the idiot commies thinking, yeah, everything's going to be great in New York City. I don't care. Let them find out the hard way. But the CIA are the ones who control you. If you believe Donald Trump, you're a puppet of theirs. They have you exactly where they want you. You'll believe anything. Control media. Operation Mockingbird works perfectly when you have a guy who can talk and idiots listen to him. That's how Hitler got in power. Yes, good puppets are easy to find. The Muppets are easy to find. A good puppet. That's what Hitler was. He was a good little puppet for the fucking CIA. This is how they got people to believe that Walt Disney loved not Adolf Hitler. No, he didn't. He hated the fuck out of that guy. His Jewish animators were the ones that did the Donald Duck cartoon of him dressed as a Nazi to make fun of Hitler and the Nazis. Yes. Plus, I know this is a fact. The day Disney shut down was the day Leni Riefenstahl came to Disneyland. Why? Because FDR, under orders by Alan Dulles, she wanted to visit Disneyland and see the animators. The problem is, they're Jewish and she's a propagandist Nazi bitch. So Disney said no. FDR said, if you don't, we'll take your company from you. So instead of putting up with it, he told all of his employees we're closing down Disney because there's a Nazi coming in. He literally told them, I don't want to be open. There's a woman from Germany, Leni Riefenstahl, and they said, what? And they agreed to shut the place down. So it was empty when she got there. And they told her, oh yeah, they made up a lie and the place was shut down for one day. And she was pissed off and went and cried her ass off to FDR, and they had it out. He won. Disney won the argument. He did not let her on the set. She could come, but it was closed because he made up a lie. He closed it down for one day to set. She couldn't meet the animators. He had somebody there to walk her around, and nobody else, the public could not go in. It was closed. It literally said closed due, and they made up a lie, and then she showed up and goes, what's going on? Oh, it's closed due to, they made up a lie, and she was not happy. Yep. So all that lie that Walt Disney liked Hitler was a complete lie by the communists who have wanted to ruin his life because he testified against them at the hearings because he didn't support communism, and he definitely hated socialism. So, yeah. And he did because they tried to lie. They lied to his animators and said he was joining the Communist Party. That pissed Walt off. You listen to the speech, he was pissed. He said these communists must be gotten rid of. He didn't support communism, he didn't support Nazism. Fuck them both. But yeah, this is the lie people tell to make themselves, oh, Trump did a good thing. To make yourself feel comfortable that your president kidnapped someone. And now he's going to go on illegally on trial in New York. Yeah. If this does happen, this is a terrible sign for America because fuck France. Who's going to want to actually have anything to do with the government that's willing to kidnap people from their country while they're in bed or whatever? And they did it because they got somebody in the Maduro government to help them get rid of Maduro. Yes, this was a kidnapping. You don't have to, you can say whatever you want. Oh, we got him. But this is how these evil fuckers in the CIA work. Go look up how many coups, assassinations they have committed. So, yeah. I wanted to do this because I felt it was important to dispel the myth that this, was a good thing. We got rid of, no, Maduro was a socialist, not a communist. And now we're going to steal the oil. So you are doing exactly what the Soviet Union used to do. So enjoy. For all the people that support this, you literally support communism. And this is a form of communism, stealing other people's resources for your war machine. There you go. Enough said. You can see I'm on Rumble under Panzer Dragon. I'm on Odyssey under Gilgamesh, I'm on BitChute and Gilgamesh 1. I do have a locals channel. I have not really posted there much. I'm not on X because I got permanently banned, which I'm fine with. I don't give a shit about X. So, yeah, this is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.